Right then, welcome back. Today, today, we do the second part of the most recent DLC, Two Cylinders Queens, and this goes from daft through ridiculous to what the F. I don't know what went off, I don't know why it was so hard, but we start off on French Riviera, went for the Panigale because there's such a massive performance gap between the slowest bike and the fastest bike, and it took 13 goes, 13 attempts to get this done. First one, we're on 115% difficulty. I thought, it's okay, I'll fall off, I'll get back on. The lap is so short and the AI are so strong, there's just no room for error. You just can't do anything wrong, and the AI are rather bolshy as well, shoving you out of the way, just kicking off this, that and the other, so you've just got to be on it. I'm not a massive fan of the track, I'm not a massive fan of the bike. It's got that much torque that as soon as you get on the gas it's stepping out and squashing the tyre and this, that and the other, and the AI turning in on you. It was just carnage. It was just carnage every single time, no matter what I did. Pushing too hard, falling off. So in the end, after 4 or 5 goes, I turned the difficulty down a bit, and then we ended up swapping bikes, and it just drove me insane. And for what turned out to be a 5-minute race, took over an hour, and yeah, it was just horrendous. We end up all the way down with the AI on the easiest level, and I just thought, what a shite way to start off a 5-race event. And it got to the point where I couldn't even get past lap 1 or 2 without making a massive mess of it and restarting. Attempt 8 onto the first lap, and I've run wide. The AI comes back at me. We're having a bit of a ding dong. This is what it was like for the 5 laps, no matter how far through the race you got. You run wide, they're up the inside. It just never gave up. And there's no performance advantage anymore. They've turned the draft down, and any performance advantage that you did have, that's gone. The bikes are on a very, very level footing now. You've got to be on something quite a lot quicker to take advantage of the draft and go past people. I thought this was the one. I thought I could hold them off. Just stay nice and tight in the corners, but the bike just didn't like it. And then you get a nudge, and then the game was a bit laggy as well because there was a lot going off. So that initial input wasn't happening when I thought it was, and in the barriers, and oh no, I don't even want to relive it in my mind. It was so stressful. So like I said, we quit, we went back to the main screen and picked the ugliest motorcycle probably ever made, and it's a Harley-Davidson. I'm not a massive fan of Harleys. I don't find them offensive. Buy what you like. If it makes you smile, do what you want. But as Harley-Davidsons go, oh dear me, it was ugly, it's slow, the engine feels like it weighs about 10 tons, it doesn't want to rev, just not a nice bike at all. So thought, no problem, we'll jang the difficulty right down and it still made no difference because the AI were just riding 1098R Ducatis. And no offence to the Harley-Davidson, but it ain't no 1098 Ducati. So there was a huge performance disadvantage. And then you end up back in the pack, then you're fighting with riders that just want you off and smashing into you, jamming it up the inside, doing all sorts of stuff. I'm then getting stressed, trying too hard, hitting the barrier, collecting other people, and it went on and on and on. So, lucky number 13. I thought we were going to do it last time. The AI, when they're on their easiest level, don't really get going too well in the straights. Attempt 13, we don't really make a massive amount of ground up off the start. So it's a case of reining in my excitement. I don't know what's going off with the video. It's transferred across from the hard drive that way. The stuff on the hard drive is exactly the same. I don't know if the Xbox was having a bit of a hissy fit, but the lag on the game was really bad. First lap, down the hill, into the tight hairpin at the bottom, and we're through. We're past. I'm not gonna do the full race. You know the French Riviera short track, and we've spent long enough watching me make a mess of it to sit through the full race. So. But bottom of the hill last time, the bike wasn't particularly nice. I don't know how I'm going to get to that level 4 or 5 with Harley-Davidson to unlock the manufacturer event. That is going to be tedious. So we'll have to do some thinking on that one. But 13 attempts, horrible bike, AI on easy, we win by whatever it was, 9-10 seconds, and it's done, it's finished, and 14 seconds in the end. I thought no problem, it's out of the way. There's a couple of time attacks, a race at Snetterton, which was the last episode, so it surely can't be any worse than that. Yeah, well, you just stay where you are because it gets a lot worse, and it's the worst type of frustration as well, but we'll come on to that. Time attack, Road America. We're using the Moto MGS1 Corsa thingy. Looks mega slow, absolutely horrendously slow. I'm not quite sure what Moto Guzzi were thinking, but it's certainly no HP2 BMW. Just, yeah, doesn't really float my boat. But gold is gold, and we'll just get it done. So, race 3. Race 3 at Snetterton in the wet. In the first race at French Riviera, I kept seeing KTM RT8s. I thought, I haven't got one of them. So, went back. When we went back to the menu for the event, I went to the dealership, bought KTM, threw the kitchen sink and fridge at it, and thought, I'll use that, no problem. We should be there or thereabouts. It's wet, so it's going to start off slippy and then dry out, so it's that middle ground on the setup. And I thought, I've piked one on easy, I'll stick it on 120%, we'll just give it a whirl and see how things go. And oh dear me, I do not know how I did not smash the controller into a million pieces. This was the most stressful race I've ever done. The inconsistency, not only in what the bikes were doing, but what the AI were doing as well, was horrific. And there must be a spiky little algorithm within the game where if you're within a certain distance of an AI, they will adapt what they're doing. There's a couple of times during one of the 13, yes, another 13 attempts to try and get this done, where I leave the AI a bit of space, or I just let the brakes off a little bit and run a little bit wide, and the AI completely changed the line that they were on. So it's a little bit naughty, a little bit rude, but now I know it's there, it's something that can be factored in. This was horrendous. I say the worst, most stressful event I've done so far. It was normally the same, well, initially it was the same three bikes at the front, a 998R, a 1098R, and then whatever I was on. And it was always the same three names at the front. And the 998 was really good through the first bit of the lap. The 1098 was fast, really quick, and was better on the second half of the lap. I was better in the first half of the lap. Couldn't get the bomb hole in the last corner right for love nor money. Really, really struggled. But I'd had a definite pace advantage over the first part of the lap. So it was a case of getting used to the conditions, letting the track dry out a little bit, and seeing if I could just do a block pass or do something to get in front and build a bit of a lead. And it just, it was a nightmare. The pace that Ducati had at the straights was absolutely ridiculous. I knew this is where my advantage was. I knew that if I was going to get past, it had to be before we get onto the back straight. So I was kind of thinking, I'll just stick it up the inside and do a bit of a block pass. And as soon as I went for it, I knew I shouldn't have done it, and it just ended in tears. Absolute tears, just nowhere near. Both off down the road. So we go again, same three bikes at the front. Just a little glance off that 998, it runs us wide and we're off. Temp 5. Same three bikes again. 1098's got to the front a bit quicker. We've got a massive pace advantage over that 998, and off we go, chasing down the 1098. We get in the draft, I think we're past. Now I know they like to go late on the brakes, dive up the inside, everything's hunky-dory. However, managed to hold them off. And we're on the last lap, through the bomb hole, that's alright. The bike's just getting a little bit pushy from the back, it's just pushing the front end. And I run a tiny little bit wide, and unbeknown to me, two nice chaps on Panigale 1299s have worked their way right through the field, and my KTM doesn't stand a chance because the Panigale is a missile. And I had to go for a little walk around the house to try and calm myself down, because I was annoyed. I was so annoyed. And I went back, started it again. I thought, well, if I can't beat them, join them. So I just went straight for the 12.99 Panigale. And then everybody's on the 12.99 Panigale, so you've got no pace advantage whatsoever. So then it's pressure back on, fingers don't work properly, all over the place. It's just a nightmare. And then the AI do daft stuff like that. I'll stick it up the inside of here, no problem. It just, if I could have smashed my own teeth out with a controller, I would have done. I was so annoyed. And then we got into the first corner stuff where I'm trying to go around the first corner steady, they're up the inside, he's off, I'm off, everyone's off, no one's getting anywhere. Just not on at all. So attempt 11, lap 5. Lap 5 of 5, we've got a couple of tenths lead, I'm too late on the brakes, front tyre's getting a bit overheated, and we're off. So we go again. Number 12, into the chicane, too late on the brakes. It's just driving me mad, absolutely mad. So 13 seems to be my lucky number when it comes to stuff like this. We get away, we have a little bit of a, not a ding dong, that's the wrong word, but the AI push on the first lap, really push on the first lap. So we have a bit of a job on, we get clear, and it never goes to more than 0.4 of a second, I don't think, for the whole race, and it's close. Towards the end of lap 5, we've got the bomb hole, the long right-hander, and the last left-hander onto the back straight. We have no penalties. No penalties, now that's a rarity. And 2 tenths of a second. I was very worried, very worried that there was going to be a dive bomb attempt or something. I almost ran too deep into the last corner. The tyre wasn't happy, but we stayed in front just. And it was done after 13 attempts. Bear in mind, I've now been at this event and the 5 races within it for the best part of 3.5 hours. So I really want to get it done. It needs editing, it needs uploading, it needs time to process. I thought it would take half an hour, 40 minutes at the most. Next one, another time attack. We're at Magny-Cours, a track I know and like very much. I thought, no problem, we'll just do this, I'll walk through it and we'll get on. Stuck a tune in, went for it, medium on the front, soft on the rear, and missed it by a good couple of seconds. I was nowhere near. Absolutely nowhere near. It was a bit of a scruffy lap. It wasn't overly scruffy, there was no penalties, but I missed it by a chunk. So off we went again, another couple of minutes, and I just thought it's going to be one of them where it's nearly impossible and you've got to run a perfect lap. But it didn't turn out like that. It just took another attempt, just being a bit neater and tidy. Last event, Monza, 5 laps at Monza. There's only one bike to go for, and that's the Panigale, because if I use the KTM or the 1098R, they'll all just use Panigales and I'll just be annihilated on the straights. So go with the Panigale, try and get out to the front, try not to miss my braking points, which I have a tendency to do. And I was concentrating so much on stopping the bike and getting it turned, I got a bit excited and high-sided myself over the bars on the first attempt. The traction control was on level 2, so I'm not quite sure what went off. And there was just those dodgy electronics, those dodgy Italian electronics. But attempt number 2, we get away, the AI starts awful, and we don't look back. It's not an absolute walk in the park, it's still on 120%, so the AI is still reasonably handy, but it was just a case of not falling off. That's it. The job is a cod. It's done. It's done. It's finished. 4 and a bit hours of my life, or whatever it was in the end. Just horrific. I could have done 2 or 3 endurance races in that time. But it's done. It's sorted. Both of the last 2 events that were part of the DLC seemed really, really difficult. It might just be me, but I don't know. Thanks very much for watching, I really appreciate it. Leave me a like, a comment, and subscribe, hit the bell of pleasure, and all the usual jazz, and I will see you next time. Stay safe, peace.